It's a little after midnight. You're lying awake in the dark, waiting. Then the screen glows. The reply that finally arrived is a single, flat character with no warmth on either side of it. A simple K, or yeah. Your body reacts before your mind even gets a vote. Your chest tightens. Your thumbs hover over the glass. The floor tilts a few degrees, the way it does right before someone leaves a room and doesn't come back. To you, that sudden drop in conversational warmth feels like the definitive first crack of an ending. This panic lands on an old, sensitive ache, the belief that your physical safety depends entirely on being actively wanted. When the warmth dips, the alarm sounds because you've learned to read silence as a threat to your survival. You start drafting paragraphs you'll never send. You read that one word 11 times, assuming the single letter is a verdict on your character, proof that you've done something to deserve the cold. But the answer your alarm is handing you might be the wrong one. The coldness you're reading as a door swinging shut could actually be an overwhelmed person desperately steadying themselves against a wall. Biological attachment research shows that when nervous systems are put under stress, they default to one of two automated survival strategies. The first strategy, hyperactivation, turns the volume up. The system expands outward to chase, cling, and force connection. The mirror image is deactivation. Like a thermostat clicking off, the system retracts inward to put distance between itself and a feeling that's too much. This deactivation operates beneath conscious opinion. For someone whose earliest lessons taught them that needing people leads to pain, closeness trips an old survival wire. They haven't left the house. They're just standing by the window because the fire got too close to the couch. The exact same 3 seconds contain two opposite events. To the person waiting, the silence means I'm losing them. To the person pulling back, the silence means I can finally breathe. That single flat word is a mechanical brake, pulled to stop the car from sliding off a hill. This presents a cruel mechanical fact. A break and a rejection are almost impossible to tell apart from the outside. We tend to assume a blank exterior indicates a lack of internal feeling. However, a study by psychologists James Gross and Robert Levinson found that the effort required to remain uncommunicative actually masks an internal storm. In the experiment, people who forced a neutral face during stress showed much higher fight-or-flight activity than those who reacted openly. The external composure was a bill they were paying in private. Their systems actually ran hotter, specifically because they were holding so still. That short text is often the visible edge of a body working overtime to look fine. The brevity may be proof of the exact opposite of indifference, a person so flooded that one word was all they could safely let out. This leads to the anxious-avoidant loop. When the receiver registers cold, they reach harder, sending follow-ups to fix an unconfirmed break. But every bid for connection lands on the sender's overloaded system as more heat. Withdrawal invites pursuit, which forces a harder withdrawal. Fear drives both ends of this loop, wearing two different masks. The relationship wears down not because the care is gone, but because the biological brakes are being pulled until the system stalls. Standard advice for this situation usually suggests communicating more. But when one person freezes, adding more words just adds more heat. The dread triggered by a flat text often belongs to a courtroom built long ago. You are holding court over someone who wasn't in the room for the original crime, trying them for an abandonment that isn't actually happening right now. Back at midnight, when the K arrives and your chest drops, you face a choice. You can choose to stop your own pursuit. You put a hand flat on your chest and tell yourself the truth. This feeling is old, and you've survived every night it's visited. You steady the alarm yourself instead of demanding they do it for you. When the demand drops, the avoidant system naturally senses the drop in pressure. Because the thermostat is still functioning, the system that pulled away will often drift back toward warmth on its own once the room cools down. This regulatory rhythm is how you tell a pause from an ending. A functioning system pulses, retreat, then return. It is a cycle of regulation. A true ending, however, goes flat and stays flat, with no reach following the pull, because the internal mechanism has stopped trying to balance the heat. You can hear the same flat word, feel the same old drop, and simply let the car coast for a second. A quiet stretch of road is not a crash. You've simply stopped mistaking every break for a betrayal.